There's some seriously worrying things I've just found out about Hbar that has me questioning whether or not I want to keep my investment in this token. Now, we know that Hbar is a phenomenal project, and we're going to look at some of the pros in this video, but also, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to tell you why I'm probably going to be selling my Hbar very soon. So do me a favor, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get into today's video. Now, for those of you who understand a little bit about Hbar and how it basically operates slightly differently from every other blockchain out there, it, instead of using blocks and creating a blockchain which can fundamentally start to slow down, which can cause scalability issues as you get more traffic using the network, it can create congestion, but Hedera works differently using a hash graph. This enables it to be a seriously fast, being able to create up to 10,000 transactions per second. However, due to the restrictions of the EVM, that is only wallet to wallet, and if you want to use it for anything else, then you actually slow down to something like 300 transactions per second, which although is not too limited, it still then lacks a competitive edge against some other blockchains in development right now. Now, if we jump over to the Hbar website, we can come down and we can see some interesting stuff that would probably get me very excited, and partly it's a pro, but partly it's a con. If we look at all of the companies that are using Hbar, you've got Google, IBM, LG, Dell. These are some of the world's biggest companies, but typically these companies are either European-based or American-based, and that's very significant. Think about what's really happening in the wider world right now. And I'm going to come to that slightly later on for why this is a concern for me. Now, something else that's caused me a little bit of concern being an inflationary asset. 3% year-on-year inflation happening all the way up to potentially a cap of 50 billion. Now, whilst 3% is not necessarily the most problematic level of inflation, given that the growth of the platform could far outweigh that inflation, there are other concerns in this area. And that is about the total supply of Hbar. So I want to bring your attention to point number 2 on the total supply of Hbar. In order to change the code to mint more Hbar, members of the Hedera Governing Council must unanimously vote. This means that there is a potential that they can change the code and they can ultimately create more tokens if they so wish in the future. And also it's important to note that if an organization can gain 1/3 of Hbar tokens total supply, then they will have the governance vote to be able to change the way in which it's minted and to increase the potential supply. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why would anyone want to go and do that? Well, I want to bring your attention back to what we just talked about with those world's biggest brands from Europe, from America. Now, the way we're moving forward in the world right now, there's a lot of change in the future potential battlefield. And what I mean by that is that we are probably going to be moving towards kind of like an espionage, online sabotage kind of environment. We've got countries around the world trying to get the better of each other by manipulating data, manipulating stocks, and potentially coming in and being able to have a huge impact on this particular token that's running all of these European and American platforms. And I do think that is a very real issue if we look at what's going on in global news right now. If we look into the mechanism as well, there's something else that I have a bit of an issue with. So the way that Hedera works is it relies on providing incentives to validators within the network. However, there's no ability to limit the bad actors, so people don't necessarily have to be incentivized to create good data. The bad actors will also still receive the reward, which is also problematic. Now, those rewards can then be dumped back onto the market, again increasing the supply, and this all happens because Hedera fails to account for slashing, which is a process that other blockchains use to remove bad actors. Now, there's also something else that I'm a little bit concerned about, is when the rewards are given, they're basically sold on to then create more utility. The utility then creates more rewards, and it's basically bouncing back between these two things. And if you get enough bad actors into this, then you can end up causing huge amounts of problems within this particular platform. So let's look into the Hbar chart to work out whether or not in the shorter term I'm going to be selling my Hbar. I do think in the shorter term, Hbar looks quite positive. We do have a very passionate, devoted community, which I'm sure if you look in the comments down below, of all the bashing I'll get from making this video, you'll understand can be kind of important. But ultimately, for a longer term play, there's too many concerns here for me to be really investing on any sort of scale at all when it comes to Hedera Hbar. But what I can see right now that is kind of positive and means that I will probably keep my tokens in until at least this next high comes in up here, is that we have kind of broken down to a nice consolidation area. And in fact, if we jump into a 4-hour chart, we can see that Hbar is now forming this descending triangle, which comes in just above this buy zone here. So I do think that after this pullback, we are looking to potentially see a bit more of a break towards the upside. Now, I think Bitcoin is actually looking extremely bullish right now, and I do think that a lot of people are going to get caught off guard because I'm seeing a lot of negativity around. If Bitcoin starts to push up into the 30k range, it's also about to drop out of Bitcoin dominance range, which will see the rest of the altcoins starting to boom, and Hbar will likely be one of those altcoins to push aggressively towards the upside. So what I'm saying in the short term, and obviously nothing I've said is financial advice, I'm looking to stay in Hbar and maybe get myself from where I am at current levels up another 65% or so, and then I'll be taking money out, moving it into other altcoins. And on Saturday, I made this video, which is probably the most important video I've ever made on my channel, about ways to find new altcoin gems to be able to become a crypto millionaire with very small amounts of initial investment. I'll link it to the end of this video, so make sure you check that out afterwards. Now, this will be a hot topic of discussion, I'm sure, and we'll continue this on in the Telegram, which is linked down below and absolutely free. There's also a premium Telegram, which starts at just $9.99 a month. After a 5-day free trial, we've got a ton of different trading experts in there now, as well as different founders from GameFi and Web3 projects sharing all of their wealth of knowledge. So if you want to get in and connect with other serious crypto investors, then make sure you go and follow the link down below in the description for that Telegram. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you haven't been too upset with what I've said about Hbar, then make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.